to the fish camp after we shared in the morning church service, and I was feeling like I was dialed in. I was tuned in to hearing from God and listening to His leading, and I was just feeling like it needed to happen. Us going down to the fish camp and just sharing my story and praying for people, and I was all ready for it. It was go time, right? And as we're kind of heading down to the fish camp, I'm just kind of thinking about just what we've been experiencing so far, and hearing the people's stories and struggles, and I'm just thinking about one story in particular where this young guy comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey man, I just want to tell you, this one time I seen this angel." And I'm just kind of listening to him while we're working on the roof, and he just starts telling me the story how he was moving from Inuvik to Fort McPherson, and how they were on the Peel River, him and his family, his mom and his dad, and how the ice broke out from underneath them as they were driving, and the skidoo went into this river, and then how as they were under the water, he could see this white figure coming towards them, and he said that it came up and it broke the ice with its elbow, and it was so bright that he couldn't even look at it properly, and it kind of picked their skidoo up and threw them onto the ice, and his family managed to kind of get some branches and some wood out of the bush, and they started this fire, and the whole time this white bright figure, this man, he said, was kind of just watching over them, and and we're heading down to share my story, and I'm kind of just thinking about that and thinking about the other stories about angels, and how just feeling like God just loves the Gwich'in people so much that He'd send angels there to fight for them and protect them, and I'm just feeling like God is gonna do something cool there at the fish camp, and we were on our way down. And then we get down there, and I'm just kind of sitting around this table, and there's this older fella there. He's kind of just sitting there quiet, and then he just looks over at me, and he just kind of starts talking about his niece, how he had a niece, and how he was just there was just this connection with him and this niece of his, and how she moved away from the community and ended up passing away in the city, and he just couldn't understand why this would happen, and as he's telling me the story, he's tearing up, and this total stranger just opens up his life, and again, I'm just feeling like God is just in this little area, in this place, in this fish camp. So up to this point, this young family that I felt God was kind of just leading us to go and see and find this girl. Her name is Danielle. She kind of hadn't heard my story the whole way through, and at the fish camp, she was there with her mom and her grandmother and her sister and her kids, and I'm getting ready to share my story, and I kind of just see her and her family, and just kind of see the sadness on them, and I'm just having a hard time to share, just because I know how difficult it is to kind of just go through loss, and and I power through, and as I'm sharing my story, I could just see the walls kind of coming down in people, and when people are beginning to cry and grieve, and in a healthy way. And I thought that was really cool, just grieving with them, grieving together. And that's how healing kind of comes, when you just sort of break through. And as difficult as it is to cry in those moments, it's healthy. And I began to see that happen there. And then I'm done sharing my testimony, and I get up and I walk over to Danielle and I give her a big hug. And I just tell her, God led us to come see you and come minister to your family. And then I kind of go out and just shake hands with a few more people. And then Donna, one of the ladies I met there at the beginning, I just asked her, what did you think? And then she just starts opening up her life about how she kind of seen a lot of tragedy in her community, and seen a lot of hurt and a lot of alcoholism, and how it just affect her emotionally. And she didn't really know how to deal with those emotions properly, and it got to the point where it was affecting her mentally, and she didn't know how to cope with the losses in the community. And she herself became very suicidal at one point. And she was telling me the story, how she was kind of on her bed crying, and these thoughts were in her mind of just not knowing what to do. And in that moment of just this deep sadness, this white figure kind of just came into the room and stood at the edge of the bed, and all these negative thoughts she was having just kind of went away, and she just got relief from these thoughts. And she's kind of looking at me, looking at my reaction, and I just told her, I believe you. I believe everything you're saying. And then we just pray. I just pray for her, and as I pray, I could just see this sadness in her face kind of just change, and there was a smile, and her face was glowing, and she's like, wow, I feel so much lighter, I feel so much better. And it was really cool. And then we got talking to more people, and I was talking to another young mother, and she was just sharing some difficult things, and we just prayed for her, and the same thing happened to her. Her face just started glowing, and she was like, what's the matter with my face? And she just had this huge smile, and I was like, you're smiling, you're glowing. And she's like, yeah, I feel it, I feel happy. And it was just so cool seeing God just moving in people. And in those moments of praying for people, I just felt like, just for a moment, there was nothing between heaven and earth in this little tiny area, and God was just pouring his love on people, and pouring his spirit on people. And it was just really cool to be a part of that. And it was just so amazing. And I didn't want to leave. I just wanted to keep praying for people. And there was a lot of prophecies about up north, how God was gonna pour out his spirit. And I was just thinking about the Gwich'in people, and the stories of the difficult things, but also the stories of God's miracles, and how you don't really see that anywhere else on that type of scale. And I was just like, man, God's just gonna move so amazingly in this community and in these people, and it was just cool to just be a small part of that.